Yeah, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the first episode of Unleashing Success with your boy Grubbs. Unleashing Success is a little podcast series I put together where I want to talk about wealth, health, and things like that. I also want to talk about everyday life things, mental health, children, so on and so forth. The list goes on and on. I know I go through a lot of things in life, and I know so a lot of people do too. And it's nothing like having a relatable person. I mean, everybody walks around with this tough skin, this whole big persona, but all reality behind closed doors, they soft and kind. Not because they soft as a person, but because of the things they're going through emotionally, making them a softer person. But those are the type things that you'll see coming from my platform. Some people may recognize me because I am one half of a dynamic duo of another podcast called Chronic Cinema, hosted by me and one of my long-term friends. We also have another endeavor and podcast called Nobody's Listening. So, that's if I look familiar. Plus, also, I've been online. Let's say I've been making YouTube videos since 2007. So, yeah, guess you call. I guess I'm a vet, OG to the game, however you want to call it. But I mean, if anybody want to test the knowledge, it's definitely there. I mean, you want to test it from day one or you want to test it to present. Either way you want it, I'm good at what I do. Um, when I first started out on YouTube, that was out back in the era of where I say I couldn't, I wasn't a drone or I wasn't going to play the game. Even looking at how YouTube is, how it is now, it kind of disgusts me. It makes me angry, but you have to play the game, to be around. Um, as you see, none of my channels and none of my endeavors indulge in anything negative. No matter, I know those are the channels that gets the most popularity. But see, the thing I'm gonna educate people on now about this whole YouTube thing. YouTube is not stupid. They're playing the negativity algorithm because the fact that's what the world in the state that the world wants to be in. And then so many people want us here because they contribute to it. So after a while, they have no choice. If you look at a platform like TikTok, can't show no guns, no cigarette smoking, no weed smoking, no heavy cussing. It's a lot of things that TikTok don't allow you to do, but YouTube allows all of it. And people talk so bad about TikTok. Oh, it's poison, it's poison. No, TikTok is actually one of the biggest eye openers that the world has seen in a long time. People will be surprised how much information you can cram in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds. TikTok made that available. And then when the information that people didn't know, even me as a 40-some-year-old man, it's like, damn, I didn't know this. I went to history class, had, African teachers, all that stuff. I still didn't know all of this stuff that I didn't learn through TikTok. Now, YouTube, what did I learn? I learned the Illuminati, Jay-Z worships the devil, Beyonce, this, like a bunch of bullshit. But that's not what I learned. What I learned on YouTube was how to work Photoshop, how to build logos, how to do fonts, how to work behind the scenes on the website, on your server, how to actually launch your website, how to be, because I wanted the ability to be able to wake up in the morning. If I want to put a website, bang, there you go. I ain't got to sit there and do this, do that, or like hire somebody. No, I got all of every piece I need to do it. I got it right here. I just need to learn how to use it. So that's the stuff that I was looking for on YouTube. And I feel bad because they took a lot of the tutorial sides out of YouTube where you used to be able to go there and learn anything. Don't get me wrong, they still have a few tutorial people, but they're not as in depth as they used to be. And if they are in depth, people are charging for them. When before, this stuff was scot free. They was begging people to come and watch and learn. I mean, that's how you know when the time changed. Plus, you talking about before the internet was oversaturated. See, people think that I joke. When I got online, probably wasn't even 1 million websites. I guarantee you it's probably only in the 100,000s. I had a ranking toolbar and this wasn't even in the 100,000s. Then you go look at it now, there's probably hundreds of millions of websites. That's because the internet had to go through its stages of oversaturation. Main reason why the government was trying to find out how to tax internet entities because they knew what it was. Also, they knew what it was going to be. And Uncle Sam needs his peace. Well, and on top of Uncle Sam needing his part off the top, it has to have some type of control. And by the internet being made later on in life, there was no laws, there was no regulations, and there was no things you couldn't do. So they had to kind of undo it and create laws to stop a lot of things. That's why TV streaming sites was able to go crazy in the beginning because the copyright law was bullshit. So they tried to go redo it or find a loophole to try to arrest people for making streaming sites. Um, the internet, like I said, the evolvance of it to me, is crazy. The things that I do like about the evolving of it is how I get to see some of the guys that I use coming up or chatted with on forums and stuff like that. And I get to see that they websites have been purchased by Google and Bing and everything else. I mean, I'm mad, but I'm proud of them because I remember these cats was, you know, one of the ones I ain't like I said, I ain't gonna say nobody's name, and I don't want to get nobody. I don't like to do that because I don't know what these cats did with their money. I don't know if they might have some family members. They might have kept their life basic and then never tell nobody. Because I also did that in the past too. I had came up on something fuck around online, and instead of me buying a car, a watch, a chain, I end up putting it away into an account that grew. So I mean, for that reason, but I remember I used to chat with this dude online, and his girlfriend used to give him so much hell. He had a marketing job. He probably still one of my subscribers. I hope he ain't get bougie and follow me because he got money. But his girlfriend had a marketing job. So he used to sit on the forum all day and offer his services for web design, internet marketing. He was real good at internet marketing. That was before it was really, I was like, why you want to work for one of the companies? Oh, no, I don't want them putting me in a box and then they going to give me an hourly wage. I can make, a couple grand a project and I got to go to work for a month to make a couple grand. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So his girlfriend used to come home all the time, chewing him out, pause, because she looked at it as like he wasn't doing nothing. Now he can get online, set up a couple ad campaigns, switch a couple keywords, and voila, he done made his few $100 for the day. With her, she had to go to work, punch the clock, deal with, Mary across the next cubicle, you ignorant ball. So to her eyes, his life wasn't as promising. And it was funny because I remember when she was leaving him because he was, telling all us, and I need y'all guys, y'all, were these keyboard friends? I need my keyboard friends for support, stuff like that, because people don't understand about a lot of these cats out here that y'all see online. The reason why they able to sit there and be able to make all this content is because they're not sociable people. They don't have a ton of friends. They don't go out, party. Hey yo, we going to the court to shoot basketball. No, they don't have those type lives. And I remember when I first started out on YouTube, that was my number one problem because you look back at my old videos, I used to tell people, oh, I don't give a fuck about this shit. I'm somebody in real life because I didn't take this as being real life. I'm sitting in front of a camera. I can tell you I'm gonna fuck you up. You probably never gonna see me. So I'm pump faking. So certain stuff that came with the internet life, I didn't stand for because I was really outside. And like I said, the stories that I got, which are my own, is very, very gracious stories because like some of the ones I can share, like people will see me online and be like, damn, this boy will just be Like a lot of people took me as this internet shit. Like this is my second nature. A buddy of mine, we invested some money, I took a loss. He got his back in another way. Um, I didn't have no other opportunities to get mine back. And my money came from outside. So taking losses was really not in the cards. So you can go break some legs and shit like that, but that wasn't a route I wanted to take. And this is going to be a real important story because this is where I say I begin to grow up at. Most people will say, hey, man, they fucked up your bread, man. You got to fuck somebody up. You're correct. What I decided to do was, I said, you know what? I got a good little revenue stream from somewhere else. I can afford to just sit in front of the computer all day. Let's see where this can go. So I remember my first day, sat there for about 15 minutes. Oh no, I rolled some weed up. I'm going outside. I can't do this. Second day, I sat there, rolled up like 4 L's before I started. Just sitting there thinking, I ain't getting no work done. The third day, I bought in my trigger, which was music. Hooked my surround sound up, cut my music on, start smoking, grooving, and I started working. My very first project that I ever did on my own was utterly horrible. It was a website that was made off of this Yahoo stuff, Yahoo something, but it was horrible. I was excited because I actually made it from scratch. It ain't really wordy, but nothing but some words, a clock, the date, and some other little bullshit. But it was mine and it was actually online. I could tell people, yo, I got this website, go visit it. So that's how my first thing that intrigued me with it. And then I started to get on to the other stuff. Like I started to create. So I started coming up with more domain names. So I ended up just yes. And then on top of that, with life, it was like I needed a challenge. Like for me, I don't want to say things were smooth sailing, but I was very good at what I did. So it was like I didn't really have a need to do anything else. And for so long, I put myself in the space. And I used to get, people used to tell me, like, man, you smart, man. You need to do this, you need to do that. I was like, yeah, man, what you need? So it was like, I didn't really never take heed to what I can do. And then I started to test my abilities. And then I started thinking about when I was younger, how I used to go to places like Circuit City and be able to play with the computers. And my dad would be like, how the fuck you know how to do that? I don't know. It's just natural, I guess. But back then, computers came affordable for families, I would say probably like 90, between 95 and 97. And I think my first computer we had in the crib cost about $800. Piece of shit ass computer too, back at that time. Definitely compared to the ones we got now. Ooh, I wouldn't even turn the bitch on if if I had to deal with that now. I'm talking about back when you had the AOL disc, the little you can't use the phone while you online. Yeah, all that, man. Imagine trying to download some music and somebody call your phone. Your shit just stop. Then eventually people start adding other lines in their house and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I've been through all the stages of the internet. So I mean, I've been on a computer since the 90s. I remember when HBO.com wasn't even a website, Showtime wasn't even a website, NBA wasn't even a website. when I first got the internet, I started going to everything I could think of. And I remember as a kid, the only thing that worked was rotten.com. That was one of our websites and something else. Outside of that, I spent a lot of time on shit like Bearshare, Napster. Um, but for the most part, it wasn't a ton of websites to go to. And then the ones that was up and running, the functionality was not out of the box like it is now. So it definitely was a whole different world. But that's what made me really feel like focusing on that was what it was. So I remember one night I was sitting in the basement at my homeboy crib, we smoking or whatever. And I was like, yo, man, I need some website names. So I remember I had this whole list I was running through, picking names, picking names. My man was like, man, you think too hard. Just think simple. You know what you like. So I came up with battles and brawls. And I'm like, okay. And then next, I came up with talk pounds. And then it was like I wanted everything. Like it's like, okay, I can get these names. These names could be sites and I could build an empire. Then I got who got work, verses and hooks. Like I was landing the names, like I'm calling GoDaddy to deal with asking questions because I don't know nothing at the time. And they like, how the hell you land these names? These are tremendous names. Like, how do you get this? This was available? I'm like, miss, took me about 4 hours worth of searching and configuring words to get these names. And that was a lot of the ones that I had that people were so amazed. Court Putt, um, oh man, the list goes on. It was so many. Like some sites I'll be like, I look at I sign in right now, I still own 20 domain names right now. That's from back in 07, 08 when I started. Certain ones I parted with due to, I say, mental attachments like battles and brawls. I finally just let it go because I felt like it was a bad leech. The site was great. I knew it could have been massive, massive at the time. Because who would ever think to bring battle rapping and boxing in the same building or battle rapping and MMA in the same building? Me. Nobody cared to think about it. And even at the time, as far as having a battle platform, it wasn't many. It was URL and King of the Dot. Wasn't no other one. I'm sorry, Lions then, but it wasn't a wide variety. RBE and academies and all them didn't even exist. Smack was God. No, we not gonna do that. Big Star and them had a space too. And while we talking about that, cats gonna respect that Philly battle scene. They gonna respect what we did. We gonna respect what we built. Shout out to Big Star. Shout out to my man. You know you is my man E. Like these niggas is really just as contributed to the battle culture as Smack, Beasley, and the rest of these niggas. But for some reason, man, we never get our just dues. Like I don't know why they hate on Philly like that, man. I don't. I really don't, man. And I mean, I ain't speaking like that because we do shit, bro. But people gotta realize that's normally that the practice. Like I'm about to give y'all the secret before we get out here. I'm gonna give y'all the secret of how Philly people are and why we are how we are. Just like I just told you, all these events, smacking them ain't pay no homage. Damn, come on, Big Star, come on out, man. Let me host an event with us. Come on, E. You sat in that joint, edited them videos for hours, ran around, recorded them youngins too, man. They wouldn't even have cared about us. If the Philly scene, we was the one traveling. We was the one doing all the footwork. And all you do is put a couple of our people up there on the platform and think that's just dudes. I mean, I can list on and on, man, how people just come to Philly and get cats and just take from them and send them home. I mean, when I used to go to the Sixers game, season ticket holder, so I got to go and see some things in there. But you'll be surprised how many people was back home, and I'd be like, damn, I thought that nigga was popping, but he back at the crib. That's because people do nut shit to us. They come and use us, throw us back at home, and then when we act like assholes, now we the crazy motherfuckers. We this, we that. Nah, man, people turned us into this. That's because either they come and get us out the hood, give us a couple dollars, aka studying us. Once they done studying us, they send us back home. Or they look online, they steal our style off the internet, and being those that they so big in life, nobody's gonna believe that that's their style. Just like right now, if I wouldn't have made this video, nobody would have believed that I came up with the concept of putting battle rap and boxing on the same card. Me, I came up with putting battle rap and MMA on the same card. I tried to do it. But see, every time it tried to come together, I always had a hiccup. And another secret I tell people you gotta understand, because some people look back at this video and be like, man, that nigga had, but y'all gotta understand who I was at that time. I'ma go run a venue. I'ma pay 8 battle rappers, security. Where the fuck is this money coming from? Or at least that's what them folks gonna ask me after I get done paying for it. So that's why I try to build connections with people where I can use their connections and pay them quietly. But I guess everybody thought, I wanted something for free. They was assuming. I mean, I said it how I just said it just then, but they took it as, I guess, I was asking for a handout, or I wanted to use their name, but that's neither here nor there. That's the past. I done did more greater things since then. But I mean, that's just a quick little episode. We're gonna touch on some things because, like I said, that was just mainly getting into what the evolution of the internet, where it came from, how long I've been on it. I mean, of course, we ain't touch on all I got from it. We just touched on it, how I began on it. I mean, affiliate marketing, selling email lists and all the other stuff that came later on down the line, because I had pretty good success with the websites and the advertisement companies. They was paying pretty good back there before the saturation of the internet. So once it got saturated, that's when part 2 came in, which we'll save for the next one, because people got to understand, being a hustler first gave me the ability to be able to adapt to any storm. Just before we leave, I'll give you a analogy of what I mean by that for some of y'all that go over your heads. It's just like it's pouring down raining. Okay, I'm gonna stand there and say, fuck, fuck, fuck. Well, hold up, man. I still got somewhere to go. That's why I'm outside in the rain. I'm gonna sacrifice something. I'm gonna throw this jacket over my head and get my jacket soaking wet to keep my shirt dry. It's adapting. Some niggas that won't even put it over their head high. Why I say over your head so it doesn't get your shirt wet. They'll walk soaking wet with that jacket and end up with a soaking wet shirt. You think too long, you think wrong, man. Remember that, man. But this ain't no one-time show. Ain't no years before nothing. It's gonna be a consistent thing, because, like I always tell people, when I stopped making videos was because what I was doing at the time, I could not get on camera. People did it. They did it. I mean, they show stuff. I mean, crazy thing about it, boy, y'all don't know. I done had some things sitting right there, but make while I was recording. I mean, why y'all think I was twirling up big ass thumbs? But it wasn't, to me, I didn't want to get myself known as that because I always said if I made it, people gonna respect me for my business and my mind. Oh, he's smart. I want to work with him. Oh, he come up with some good ideas. I wish I can get with him and see what he got. What we can come up with. I don't want to be, oh man, we gonna use him in all the ghetto campaigns, and we gonna use all the, when we got the liquor concoctions and the vape pens and stuff, we gonna use him. No, I didn't want to be that boy. I wasn't gonna be nobody lapdog. I'm gonna be respected as a businessman and a man also, but I'm not gonna be nobody flunky or nobody chimp or none of that shit. So I was like, no, I wanted to come in the way I came in. Even as far as anything I do, I can always take the shortcut route. I got access to all the information like everybody else. Being online for all these years, I can get anything, anything. I got so many alert things up here on my browser, man. As soon as shit happen, I get the news. I can get right on here and make a video about it. I don't be caring. I don't care about nobody legal troubles. I don't care about nobody marriageable problems. I don't care about none of that shit, man. Honestly, I don't care about none that ain't paying me. And to be honest, I'm sorry to say, I consider since I started this podcast thing, I start to feel like a journalist now. So even being a journalist, I still want to carry that certain respect. I don't mind nobody business. See what I'm saying? Certain business, okay, you do some dumb shit, I'm gonna call you a dickhead. You gonna get that. But I'm not digging to find your personal business. And if it's too personal, you'll never hear me talk about it. It's just a simple fact of respect. No, I know ain't nobody gonna do the same for me, but I don't give a fuck. It's just the way that I feel, and I that's how I am. But I ain't gonna hold you guys up. I mean, we'll probably do another one tomorrow. I mean, because I still want to finish touching on some good important topics. I don't want to give away too many big bombs in the beginning because when people figure out, when I sit in and break down how I do what I do, because a lot of people wonder, how do I do what I do or how I do it? A lot of people think that I'm secretly rich. I don't know what to tell y'all. All I can do is my net is my business. I ain't on Forbes. If I was, then it'd be everybody else's business. But for now, that's my business. But as far as how I did what I did or how I do what I do, that's what I want to tell you. Because with me, a lot of things that I do or have done have been etched in stone. Like the new Chronic Cinema. See, me and my buddy got what I call the biggest bombshell that probably is gonna hit the podcast scene. That's because we got a different formula than everybody. I always liked the vibe that the Gillian Wallow had, not only because they from the city, but I like that vibe. I like the Deez and Mero vibe. So I said, okay, I ain't got a cousin I could trip with, but I got a nigga like a little brother I can trip with. So that's how we put it together. See what I'm saying? We kind of just like Gillian Wallow. You know what I mean? His mom knew me for my whole life. My mom knew him. Everybody intertwined. We had matching friends. Everything, like we've been around each other for over 30 years, plus 30 plus years, almost 40 years. See what I'm saying? So we gel together. But when we sat down and came up with the concept, I liked it because as you see from the old videos till now, I like weed. I smoke weed all the time. So that ain't nothing I put in play just to start a podcast. You look at every video. I always been blowing these because that's what I do. Cats weren't blowing the YouTube videos back then. They was probably too scared to get banned. I ain't give a fuck. So it was what it was. But the one thing about it, I wasn't gonna let nobody take my authenticity. So if I felt that it was challenging, then I didn't do it. And that's how you got the long hiatus between the videos that I put up. But see, now I'm getting more comfortable with being on camera. I'm getting comfortable with speaking my mind. And as you see, my speaking voice, conversation, and my topics are getting clearer because even though I know so much and can do so much, everything can use critiquing. I haven't did any public speaking since elementary school. I haven't read out loud, even though I'm sitting in my house talking into a microphone in a room by myself. To me, it still symbolizes public speaking, properly announcing words, slurring, stuff like that. It's a lot of things that goes into doing this. Me, I talk shit all day long on the phone. I've been a 10, 15,000 minute a month person back in the day. So I talk nonstop. So like I say, vocabulary is just my thing. I still read a lot. So I still do the things that keeps my, what you say, my speaking stuff in order. Cause I never know when I might have to talk. Plus I got a bunch of kids and I got, I talk all the time. And I try to use the more educated words when I'm dealing with them because I don't, I want them to be, get their first taste of that level too. But that's pretty much, where it is with it. But as far as what to expect in the future, I mean, I'm gonna pretty much be giving out all the secrets. I mean, anything that I done did or put together in the last probably 10 years, I mean, I let it all fly because where I'm at now, I'm gonna say I hit a self reset button. I had put together a life to where I was fine. Didn't really want for much, didn't need much, guaranteed money for years to come. All I had to do was just chill. And I got bored and I started, doing stuff. And I was like, man, you know what, man? I think I need to, if I can do it once, let's see if I can do it again. And then, like I tell people, when I had kids, that kind of changed the game because my first original dynamic, I was already 34, 35 years old with no kids. So I already had my life signed up without them. I had my stuff structured, finances, all that shit without them. So then when I end up having a kid and then a few more, it's like, okay, yeah, bro, that little 401k plan you made for yourself, that ain't gonna be enough. And if it is enough, what you going, you're gonna leave your kids. So that's what generated my second win. And that's also what generated the second run. And the secret that nobody knows, everything that I run or purchase is not from my past life. Anything that I've done in the past that's still running in existence, still runs in existence. I kind of just wanted to start something new without leaving everything else behind. Plus, I always had a knack for doing a million things, so it wasn't really too hard to do it, being it was that the other stuff was kind of autopiloted. So I didn't really have a lot of work with it. I had free time. That's how I was able to start other businesses while this internet money continued to roll. And when I came here, I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to see if I can make that run again somewhere else. I'm like LeBron. People always say Michael Jordan's the greatest. Michael Jordan's the greatest. No, I respect LeBron because LeBron moved. Jordan played his whole career at Chicago. That's where all his accolades came from, Chicago. LeBron actually took that leap and went to another city, team, and did it all over again. More greatness. Then I'm gonna slide over to this city, more greatness. Slide back home, more greatness. Like that's how I think in my mind. I wanted to come to a new place, make a whole new fortune, whole new wealth. And it was all trial and error, but I figured it out. Took some time, but I figured it out. I really think I had it figured out in the beginning. I just was overthinking. Instead of just letting everything go simple and easy, I was trying to force and hurry up, make this go over there. Chill, you drunk. Like instead of just letting it just flow together. So once I started letting stuff flow, it got better. And then, like I said, my mental got a lot better. But I tell people too, I've been, living near or with my pop my whole life. So when I left Philly, my pop was still there. And I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I think that gap kind of did something to me because when I went home and got my pop and moved him down here with me after he got sick, my life kind of did start picking up. And I tell myself because I got my pop back in the crib with me like I used to. I got my mom 10 minutes away. I can go holler at her. So it's like all the people that I live and die to stay safe, keep safe, is right under the same roof or in the same vicinity. My kids here, my pop here, my mom across town. Now, where everything kind of went wrong at was, like I say, recently when I lost my pop in June. And it kind of fucked up my mental because I thought that nigga was a superhero. So it's like, to me, dying one in the cars, I said, oh, this nigga gonna be old as shit, getting on my nerves, like 98, 99. Like, I ain't think, you know, it was gonna be this soon. And I mean, I tell people all the time, I'm a pretty tough guy when it comes to dealing with things. But it's like dealing with that is not the same. I mean, it's like my pop wasn't a man of many words. My pop wasn't a guy you go get out the house to come help you with your car. He wasn't any of that, but to me, he was special because he always listened. And I always tell people my pop was my biggest hater. But all reality, my pop was my biggest motivator too, because he always kept me motivated and him hating on me always motivated me to want to make him wrong. And that also made me do better. But the parts, like I say, that bothers me the most is like going back and forth. I went to Philly last week for a wedding. And I mean, the whole time I'm on the plane, I'm like, man, I want to go back home. I want to go back home. I ain't even make it there yet. I'm like, I want to go back home. I'm like, man, I fuck with my nephew. I'm going to go. But I want to go back home because my mind, that was like the first real step since he passed. I mean, even right now, we recording in this room. See what I'm saying? This is where I spend majority of my time. I even made it my own little sanctuary slash, studio. I got my backdrops up for my podcasts. My computer, that's where I do my work. We work together. See what I'm saying? So, you know, I get to sit here in bed with my man. He get to watch his son make greatness every day. I mean, it is what it is. But that mental thing on that plane was like, I'm going to Philly. And it's like that I never been to Philly without him not being around. It's like either he was at the crib waiting for me to get there, or he was back here waiting on me to get back. And I knew being on that plane, I was gonna show up in Philly and he wasn't there. That was gonna hurt. And then to go home and he still ain't there, that shit hurt too. And then it's like, trying to go home and go check the crib out or whatever. I ain't, as tough as I am, I ain't had a heart to do that shit. I mean, to me, the memories is a little too heavy. I mean, me and my pop spent a lot of time together. I left home late. So me and him spent a lot of years together, man. That crib. And then it's like the way certain stuff in there still the same from back before I left. So it's like I already know that shit going gonna fuck with me. That's why I was like, I just want to rehab that joint, make it look different, change the style of it. But I mean, people say it's a day by day thing. I kept telling people, I was cut different. He prepared me for it, but it's like he passed on a bad day, my favorite day. I mean, everybody got their favorite day of the week. Mine's Saturday, and it's been like that since I was little. Getting up, going downstairs, getting my Captain Crunch, and wait for Pee Wee Herman come on, and all my little TV shows Saturday mornings, inside stuff. I used to be, Saturdays was my favorite day. So it's like for him to pass on a Saturday, that definitely fucked me up. And then to actually pass the day before Father's Day. Like we really sat there Friday talking about what we was gonna eat for dinner. Cause every year I get him a lobster, something that's costly that you don't get to eat all year round. And every year we always got something like that. But he was just telling me this year, he's like, I just take my lobster. I don't need all the extra stuff. And, that's why I say, man, being unexpected is everything. Cause we even sat and talked the night before. So I mean, when I went to bed, you think I went to bed knowing that's the last conversation we was gonna have? I wouldn't have went to bed. I would have stayed and talked a little more. I came in the room. He said, "You smoking your stuff?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, you might come say it for a minute and finish." And I sat there and finished smoking my L, busted it up with him, and I went on the bed. And like I said, I never would have thought in my life that that would be the last night. Me and him would talk. I mean, you know, and then like I said, I still gotta get over that fact. Like I never not had a father my whole life. You know, he never was absent, none of that shit. So it's like to really get that word and you like get that phrase in your mind, like, yo, bro, yeah, you ain't got a pop no more. I mean, dad was your favorite word. My kid's favorite word, dad. So it's like you can't even use it no more. Not unless I'm talking to him in my mind or something like that, but I can't call dad no more. He ain't gonna answer the phone for me, none of that. So it's like, it's that's something I'm working through. Definitely trying to see through it because the part why I've been able to kind of, I guess, be so strong is because, like, the first and second day, I had a little breakdown, but then I had to realize, I got all little girls, and it's like to them, I am a superhero, so it's like I can't, I couldn't wear the hurt for them to see, so I masked it, and I dealt with it when I was alone every night. And then the next day, I was back to, body slamming dad and flipping and all this other stuff. Like I was right back to them. Like that's the thing I am, grateful for from him that he let me get of age where I can process things properly. And I was able to keep my mind together for my kids. That was like the most important thing. Because like I said, my mental is key. If I can't do any of this, if my mental isn't intact, I can't work. I can't edit videos. I can't record. I can't talk to you guys. I can't do anything if my mental is not intact. So, I mean, I don't want people out there to feel like, oh man, my mind ain't right for it. They said like, man, figure that, man. No, bro, it ain't no whole shit. It ain't no white people shit. It ain't no crazy shit. Biggest piece of advice I'm gonna give y'all before I go is you think of a machine, it got cogs. If one of them cogs ain't working, only two gonna spin. That third one is missing. How is whatever you trying the machine gonna work? You got mind, body, and soul. if they all intertwine intact and they all perfect, you can go to the moon. And don't tell me no, it's more than that. Try it. Cause I bet you never did. Never did. Took me almost 40 years to ever get all three of them in sync. At one time I had them in sync and didn't even know it. And I wasted years trying to recreate that time over and over again instead of worrying about getting it back in sync. Think long, you think wrong. So, but thanks for joining me on my first episode of Unleash Success. And I mean, I hope these things that I share with y'all really can help y'all a lot. I mean, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Don't cost you a thing. I do it all day long. So, see you guys next time. As always, be great out here, man. And don't take what the world give you. Take what you need, you know.